All right, we're back. Street 16 podcast. Mike Barclay, Jeff McCoy, Ebony Mystique Williams, and Byron Wilson Bay. We were talking about good and bad teachers. I wrote a story in my book, chapter 5. It's called Miss Arts Class. It's about my fifth grade teacher at PS 327 in Brooklyn on Bristol Street. And Miss Arts got me out of trouble when I did something that was against my religion. And another kid from my school who also went to my parents' church snitched on me.
Uh-oh.
And when my parents came to school to investigate, Miss Arts covered it up and said, yo, nah. And I wrote that story about it. And 30 years later, I found her on Facebook and I sent her the story. She loved it. She's my Facebook friend, Beverly Arts. All right, so anybody else got a good teacher story? Jeff, you want to start?
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much gave it away in the intro, but on the overall, my son was called annoying by a substitute, put out of class, made to leave class, and was late for his art class or his art club because he was made to leave class. He's 9. He is clinically diagnosed as on the spectrum, and the substitute locked him out of class. So upon telling, us, me and his mom decided to go down to the school early the next morning and have it out with the assistant principal, because it just seems with past instances and stuff that are a lot more reactive than they are proactive. And my ex-wife is Mama Bear, to say the least. But I pretty much had it out with them in the sense of, hey, I'm matching and leveling out energy here today. She's coming for y'all's nut throats. I'm going to maintain, some type of composure, but don't let me ever have to come back up here and reference again, because I'm not going to be, I don't care what mood she's in. I'm going to be turned. So, but, they went about investigating and blocking us up from the school and gave us the information to take it to the substitute teachers, HR department. So hopefully this young lady will not be working, at least in elementary schools, if, 9-year-old kids, being 9-year-old kids, she considers annoying. So, that's pretty much that.
Ab, what you think? You think 9-year-olds are annoying?
Yeah, but they're 9, and they're still navigating life. They haven't even been here a decade, so can't expect them to act the way we think they should act. They're still figuring it out. I learned that the hard way.
You want to tell us about learning it the hard way?
I have 2 daughters, and they was like 1 and 3 or 2 and 4, and they were difficult. Not in the sense that they were terribly behaved. They were just, I guess they were just high maintenance, high energy. And a lot of the times when they were younger, I was dealing with them by myself. So I used to lock myself in the bathroom and cry because I was like, why are they doing this? I can't do this. I can't function. And my parents, my dad was like, I would call them just crying like, y'all lied to me. Y'all made parenting look easy. This is terrible. I hate it. And so my dad was like, don't take it personally. It's like, they're still trying to figure it out. They haven't been here that long. So if you're going to be a teacher, you kind of got to understand they haven't really been here that long. And they are figuring it out. Now, some kids are just rotten.
But now the substitute teachers how much do you expect them to know about, like, how many days are they really there? Were they called in for like 1 day? Is this something that's ongoing? Was she aware of the class that she had?
In my son's instance, there's a 540. I want to say 504, but then that makes me think of Master P. but there's a packet specifically that says, X dot, this kid does this kid.
She didn't read
has tendencies. Obviously not, but it's required that they're supposed to. You know what I mean? So, complete ball drop. But I guess they usually have a in-house sub that would typically take classes with kids that have special needs.
So they already know.
Right.
Right.
Because they're already known, they're well and familiar, but in this instance, I don't think there was one available, et cetera, et cetera. Everybody's got a reason why.
Yeah, it didn't happen. Yeah,
right.
It didn't happen.
Right.
Okay. So what about when teachers cross the lines? Like some people don't want teachers telling their children about sex. Some might not want them telling their children about religion or the LGBT gender issue. And sometimes there's been situations where they've mischaracterized some of our heroes on a racial dividing line, where white teachers have told black children negative things about black heroes like Nat and Malcolm and Asada and Harriet. Did you experience that?
Yeah. My youngest, her 5th grade teacher, the first one, because she ended up having like 3 that year. But the first teacher, she would come home and she was just like, Mom, we learned like Malcolm X was killed because he murdered somebody's wife and then her husband came and killed him. And it was just like, you're in 5th grade for one. They're teaching you about Malcolm X in 5th grade. 2, they're going to teach you about it. They should probably give you accurate information.
Right.
So I had to go behind and correct and go through the whole story. Same thing with Nat Turner. He told the kids that he murdered a whole bunch of kids in their sleep.
Wow.
I was like,
Nothing
then I
else.
had to go through the whole story of why all of that came about and what was happening at that time. So, but she would come home, and that was like 1 week. She would come home with some stuff, and before I could get to him, by that Friday, he was gone.
You know.
He was gone.
And you know that's strange because I don't ever remember when we were in school questioning anything. You know, so it was never a question. I think our generation, a lot of people that are in their 40s, maybe late 30s, that have children. The teachers are being a lot more vocal. They used to stick more to the script, you know what I'm saying, or what the public school system wanted to teach, and now kids coming home where these teachers are ad-libbing and they're putting their own little ad-libs to history, and they're totally inaccurate, you know, and then you as a parent, we knowing a little bit different, have to correct these things, you know. It's just different. I don't ever remember when I was in, say, from 4th grade through high school, whether it was a topic that was so controversial that we had to question, you know, the teacher about it.
Well, my dad used
Evolution.
when I would come home with information, he would always go behind it.
Right.
So I learned a lot from him anyway, because even though they were following the curriculum, he would come back and tell me like, okay, well this is history.
This is how it actually is.
Right. Yeah. So.
And a fact check.
Was your
Yeah,
father
yeah.
a teacher?
No.
Oh, okay.
He was in the Air Force.
Oh, right. Yeah, okay.
So he definitely had the time to set aside to do the back research.
I mean,
I'm just joking. Big ups to the Air Force. My dad was in the Air Force.
In New
No.
York, growing up in New York, I know there's a lot of culture up there. Did you ever have teachers that said questionable things that y'all questioned, you know, that you questioned vocally or at home or?
There was a teacher who came in, I forget her name, and she was black. She was one of the only black teachers, and she came in specifically to teach a class called Cultural Heritage. And she would come in there, and we would have to go to her class once a week or whatever, and she talked to the children and told us about some African names and places, and the children laughed. And I remember her getting upset, like almost, you know, maybe crossing the line. I don't believe she crossed the line, but I remember the energy level she was at, where she was almost like, "You ignorant niggas."
You ingrates.
Yeah, but I mean, she was trying, you know. Also, growing up as a Jehovah's Witness, the main thing they kept pumping in our head was, don't believe in evolution. The teachers shouldn't not. As a matter of fact, we had a pamphlet called School in Jehovah's Witnesses that we used to have to take to school every year.
Wow.
To let our teacher read, to know what we could and could not do. Every year, it was interesting, man. I mean, like during Christmas parties and stuff like that, if our class had a Christmas party, we would have to be moved to another room.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I had
Stuff like that.
kids that was in our elementary school, and it was hard because they would always be crying because they could never participate. Halloween, Christmas parties, Easter, they were always had to be left. And there was only one guy he was Jehovah's Witness, and there was only one kid. Now you're in a kid of 30 kids, you can't participate in
You remember his
anything.
name?
Yeah, I remember the name.
What's his name?
Anthony Smith.
Anthony Smith, hit us up, man. You got a blood brother over here. So look, speaking of that, I once asked this poll question. You're the teacher, and one of the students in your class is Jehovah's Witness. And so during the holidays, he or she can't celebrate Christmas and give toys, but they do a toy gift exchange where the kids got to bring toys to each other. So one of the kids took it upon himself to tell his parents, well, such and such can't celebrate Christmas, so he won't be getting a toy. And his parents said, you know what, we're going to get him a toy anyway. Right. And sends that kid back to school with that toy. And that kid gives the Jehovah's Witness this kid this toy. And the kid is happy and he's enjoying the toy.
Wow.
What do you do as a teacher? Do you A, let the child keep the toy and stay out of it? Do you B, take the toy, keep it for yourself, maybe give it to another kid? Do you C, tell the kid to give it back to the kid who brought it to him and give it back to his mother? Or do you D, snitch on the kid and tell the parents that the kid got a toy?
Well, the problem is you got to take it home sooner or later. I mean, unless you're just going to leave the toy at school to play with it when you come to school. So eventually, if he takes it home, there's gonna be a conversation about where'd you get this toy from.
So would you take any action?
Yeah, knowing the kid's situation, but I would call the parents and let them know, hey, this is this situation. You know, not explain it to them. They would have to handle that because this is their religion. You know, I'm not gonna get involved in that, but I'm not gonna shoot this kid down in front of all these other kids like that. I'm not gonna do that.
What you say?
I'm gonna pull that, let me confiscate this item and keep it to the end of the year type scenario.
And give it to your own kids?
No. I'm gonna give the kid back the toy well outside of the bounds of the Christmas holiday.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah, like outside of statute of limitations, because like either which way it's gonna be something. You know what I mean? Right. Somebody if you tell the parent, any parent who knows is gonna be something. The one parent, oh well, it's Christmas and this is what we do and that's our tradition, and you know.
Well, the parent, I'm thinking
ghost peer pressure tradition, but you know, and then the parents on the opposite side are gonna, probably be upset. You know, just knowing some of the stories that I've heard him tell. I'm gonna, maybe not my place, but I'm moving the parents completely out of that situation. Well, the reason why I'm gonna take the toy and give it back after the holidays over.
The reason why I said, the parents of the kid that gave the toy, I don't see where they're involved in from that point. After that, they gave it to their son to give to this kid. After that, that's between that kid, the parents of that child, and the teacher, how they're gonna proceed, knowing that this kid is not really supposed to partake in this. The parents that actually bought the toy, I don't even know why they would have to get involved. And even if I was the parent on the other side, I don't think I would. You'd have to understand, because if you are Jehovah's Witness and you have dealt with this over and over again, you know that sometimes Christians or other people outside of the religion are going to try to impose on you. So they should be prepared. Hey,
should they, Mike?
The teachers?
No, the parents.
Like say this.
Yes, they should be prepared, because every Jehovah's Witness got a couple of toys in his toy box that's smuggled black market goods that snuck in under the radar, that came from one of these holidays. Matter of fact, I would recommend that if you have a Jehovah's Witness kid in your class, you know, I am promoting that we do take a year off for Christmas, but if my strike doesn't work and I don't get enough petition signatures and we have Christmas, give that child a smuggled toy. Smuggle the toys for the JW kids in 2020. You with me?
I'm with you on that one.
Jehovah's Witness protection. Shout out to 6ix9ine.
Plus 5, G. Wow, that's the line of the year. I guess we can pause it after that, and we'll come back and continue to talk. And maybe get some sports talk and some sports dynasties talk, and maybe some artist music spotlight. We'll be right back after this break. It's the Street 16 podcast. Pause.
That's a good way to put it.
Right, because I'm like wholesome like wheat bread.
Yeah, you said that already. You believe it?
I do.
But you had to repeat it?
Yes.
Is it like me saying I'm a good guy?
It's an affirmation.
Right, that's
You
what
are
I be
wholesome
trying.
like wheat bread.
That's what I be trying to tell people. They told me that if you're a good guy, you don't have to say it. You don't have to say I'm a good guy. People will say it for you.
Both of y'all are full of shit.
I mean, like, okay, so we probably shouldn't be telling people we wholesome like wheat bread and we good people. But I'm wholesome like wheat bread.
Well, I think wholesome like wheat bread and good people are two different levels of the spectrum. You're going high up. You're way more ambitious with your statement of self-proclamation. Good people is sort of, right in the range where,
Yeah,
yeah, right above the eye.
wholesome.
Yeah, that's way up there.
I'm a wholesome Scorpio.
Like 9 grain,
She's a 9 grain
like
Scorpio.
granola.
I'm a 9 grain Scorpio. That's
Yeah.
If you try to ebonicize the word wholesome, you could come up with a